hello. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. How is everyone doing today? What a day. First of all, I am DJ Bossick, founder of Black Men Meditate, which creates a safe space for Black men to go within so they don't go without, to be able to decrease stress, reduce anxiety, and just connect and be present at a moment. So when you're home, you're home. When you're at work, you're at work. And that comes with some of the benefits of meditation when it talks about attention and focus, how it allows you to be very present in the moment. So I think today was a day that I wanted to really kind of sit and think for a moment, to be present in the midst of everything that's going on right now in the world. As I looked out today, there was a lot of individuals that posted videos after video of Black women being raped, just beat up. And it was interesting because one of my friends, Brick City Buddha, which I will have him on to walk us through another form of guided meditation. I think the brothers will absolutely love it. But he was asking and really talking about this in his live a few hours ago, and it really struck home because so often we get stuck in a place where we're just looking at all the events that's going on. And one of the comments that I read today was where a sister was like, why won't Black men protect me or protect us? And I wanted to really sit and think about that moment. Really sit and think about just kind of the brevity of how important that seems to be at times in our communities. And when I think about protect, I think to keep from harm. And there are certain instances when, as a Black man, and one of the reasons I really teach meditation is to allow Black men, people of color, to really pause, to think, to analyze, to get to a point where they're able to see things from a different perspective or a different vantage point. Because sometimes when you go to a different vantage point, you see things in a different way. And one of the questions that I have is how can us as Black men show up for Black women and women in general? And I think that's what everything kind of boils down into. It's how are we able to show up in those spaces that you need us to. I remember it is amazing how I think about just that term of the way that my thinking was at one time when it came to relationships and things like that. It was very selfish and self-centered because I was thinking about what can I get out of this situation from an immature standpoint, and a standpoint where I had not done the proper healing of myself to be able to take in consideration how that other individual could have felt concerning my actions. And I think that's where the underlying thought process comes from, is that I didn't show up. I became the harm. And I think that's one of the biggest things right now, is that the need is not for to keep from harm, but the need truly is how are you showing up? And one of the ways that I tell friends and just brothers in that capacity is how are you holding each other accountable? What are the actions that you're displaying? Because individuals will feel comfortable being around you, being in your circle, when they don't have a true relationship with you, when they're able to say things that you know is not quite right, but you allow it. So now you're not holding that brother accountable for his actions when it comes to those that he desires to love and be loved by. And so for me, I think that was one of the biggest things that really was a slap in the face, is like, are you really showing up in those places? Are you exhausting those opportunities to show up in ways? Some of them, it's just, hey, look, sit and talk without any type of motive. To listen, to hear without any type of underlining, okay, what am I going to get out of this situation? And I think that is one of the key moments where you're able to see maturity in yourself. when you're able to slow everything down and say, okay, what is my motive for why I'm doing this? Because once we understand the motive for why we're doing, we can change and we can shift it. But whenever we don't understand the motive of why we're doing what we're doing, we'll continue on with that habitual behavior, what I like to call low frequency. Because once you rise up and you just get to another great understanding of who you are, what love truly is, it allows you to move totally different. So when I get down on a mat, I'm getting down from a perspective of, okay, there's certain areas of myself that I want to quiet down to really understand, well, where these behaviors coming from. Why am I thinking this way? Because those are the moments that you're able to just be quiet to yourself, by yourself, in a position where you're able to say, okay, there's some areas that I need to change in my life. Because I said this going into 2019 and 2020, on 2020, is that year would demand a greater version of myself. And I had the power to be able to recreate myself to a point where, okay, these are certain areas or these are certain behaviors that I want to exhibit, because I see it's attached to my destiny. I see it's attached to where I desire to go in life. So whenever I was able to kind of get real still, I was like, okay, how have I been with the relationships that have been going on in my life? So I'm able to take it from a different vantage point, not of, oh no, I got to be seen as a heroine, but I have to be seen as, okay, who are you really in this space, or as a friend, or as in a relationship? So it allowed me to work on certain areas of my life that I knew that it demanded it, with new love and me getting ready to get married July 22nd. I knew that I had to, going into the relationship phase and getting to know and her I wanted her to know an authentic person. I wanted her to know that, okay, that this is who I really am. No facade, take off the mask. This is who I am. Can you love this? But it took for me to heal in some areas and to correct some behaviors and patterns and habits that would not work well in a relationship. I had to open myself up and be vulnerable enough to open myself up, say, look, here I am. Can you still love this? But as a black man, where we're taught to keep everything in, hold it all in, don't show it, don't be vulnerable, and then the whole time you get in relationships and things like that, and now the real you wants to come out and they're not ready for it, and it causes conflict. So for me, I pretty much devoted myself to, okay, I'm going to show up in ways that she would need me to show up in without forfeiting who I am. Because when you love somebody, it becomes natural. And as a black man, I wanted to do the behaviors and the habits that I am now possessing now. I wanted it become consistent. Because the more consistent it became, the more I was able to be fully who I am. And the relationships can thrive from there. And when I came to, she wasn't looking for somebody to protect her. She said, I need you to show up in these areas so that we can build something together, so that we can grow and take things to another level. But had I looked at it, okay, I got to protect it, I would have came outside of myself trying to do something that might naturally not been of what she needed at that time. But my mindset was, oh, let me protect. Versus, okay, let me show up. Where do you need me at? How do you need me to love you? How do you need me to show up in certain areas? And for me, that was key and it was critical. So it took for me to sit down on the mat and just get real quiet. And it didn't feel good. And you'll notice on these 30 days journey that we're on, that there are going to be days that that mirror's going to turn around and you're going to have to look at yourself. Say, what areas of my life do I need to change? What would the future require of me that I'm not yet? How to become that? Because everything you need is already inside of you. And the mind is so powerful. It's amazing. I remember before, I read a study before the 1996 Olympics. They took athletes and put them in a laboratory and they hooked them up to all these leads and EKGs, and they told them, go ahead, run your race. And they ran their race in their mind. They took them off the leads and they put them out on a track. And they said, hooked them up to the same leads that can monitor. And they told them, go ahead and run your race. And they ran a race. And what happened was so remarkable when they came back and put the data between when they were doing it in their mind and when they were doing it on the track, the same muscles fired, because the mind does not know whether it's real or not. All they know is to do. And that's how powerful the mind is. So when you make a decision that, okay, I want to change in a certain place in my life, or I want to change in a certain area, you have the ability to do that. It has nothing to do with outside sources. Nothing outside of you can save you. You got to go within yourself. And you got to find those areas that, okay, these areas that I know I need to work on. And you become diligent, almost tenacious about, okay, I want to change in these areas, and I'm going to change in these areas. And the truth of the matter, over these 30 days, you'll begin to see things change your life, and people will begin to see things change your life. You're like, man, you're more calm. Or the thing that used to set you off and make you want to go off, it doesn't anymore. So because of that, I can tell things are now shifting now. And it's just because you made a conscious effort. You made a conscious decision that I want to change in these certain areas. So when I say, how can we show up? It's just that. How can you show up with the Black women that's in your life right now? And it could be a friend, a sister, you know what I mean? However they're connected to you. But how can you show up for them and let them know they are protected? That they are loved and they're appreciated? Because you'll be surprised how often it goes overlooked. And I believe, as a Black man, that is my duty and my right to show up in areas that they may need, that may be needed. Yo, I love that, Raven. Salute. I think Black men, matter of fact, we're going to put it on. I think Black men can show up for Black women by intentionally helping to tear down stereotypes about us. I agree. Because the truth of the matter, some of those stereotypes come from us. They come from us. Because we've now created labels, and we don't correct individuals when we know that label is not right. So for me, those are those times and those moments where you're able to say, look, yeah, I'm going to show up. So I think it is our duty, and that's our right, that it is needed now, that in the midst of the communities that we frequent, that it is our right to, okay, how can I protect? And go beyond protecting. How can I truly show up when the harm has been done? Even if you are the harmer, how can I step back and say, look, I'm the harm? How can I change and correct things in my life so that I can truly be available and open to be able to show up in a way that creates peace and not harm? So one of the videos I saw today, man, it just stunned me, absolutely stunned me. A young man I think he was in Jersey, hit the girl with a skateboard in the face because she rejected him. And how have we become as a society? And then he turns around with his homeboys and begins to say, taunting the situation, like, man, what's wrong with her, man? Like, whenever we got into a place where that is even acceptable. Think about if it was somebody that connected to you. And for the man that he felt cool enough to turn around and even joke about the situation, and she's laying down there unconscious. But him feeling comfortable enough, that man, and then not a brother checking him. Nobody checking him. Said, bro, I can't believe you. But when they feel comfortable exhibiting that behavior, we continue to do it. We continue to do it. And I think it's time out for that. So for me, which allows my mission to become even greater, to show us how to quiet that down. Yeah, you might be upset, you might be angry, but now I'm a master of my own emotions, because that's energy in motion. And I'm able to be centered and grounded, but yet present. That doesn't allow me to act out in hatred and anger. I don't act out, I'm calm. I'm at peace. And I think that's what's needed now. We need a lot more individuals that are willing to be at peace. Feel the anger, feel the emotions, but yet it won't allow me to get out of character. That's true power. So for me, as I continue to practice and teach individuals how to tap into that level of compassion, because one of the benefits of meditation is your higher level for compassion for individuals. Because the deeper and the more quieter you become, you begin to go inside and you begin to see how your actions hurt other individuals. And it allows you to now move from a place of compassion. Now I see what it is like. I see what it feels like. And that's where we're at. So that's one of the things that I want to just talk about today. on day 17 of 30 days of meditation. And I want you to really focus on that. I got another one. Such an important topic that needs to be discussed. Salute, Raven. Crown Calm. Can't wait for us to do that live. It's going to be awesome. Many Black men think of protecting us in terms of physical or financial protection, only emotional, mental protection gets overlooked. I totally agree. And the spiritual. If she gets sick, do you know what to do? Do you know how to tap into something greater? Do you know how to pray? The spiritual is so needed. Because we think it's only about the physical, but it's far more than that. The emotional, when she's crying or she's reliving, she's in love with you, she loves you, but she's reliving pain. Do you get upset? Do you get mad? Do you get offended? Or do you have a level of compassion, understand that this is an area in her life that she wants healing? And you're able to be there to be able to help bring that healing, standing in the place of those individuals hurt, tell us, I'm sorry. See, that's another level to this thing. Being able to stand in that place and say, look, I'm sorry what they did. So you can watch her heal from them broken places, so you can love her all the more. Because now you're in a place of vulnerability to where I understand what you're feeling. That's the key. That's where we need to get to. And I think it's our responsibility. And not just on this whole train of just being Black or Black man, Black power and things like that. And all those elements are needed. I choose a class of peace. I tell people all the time, I can do more in meditation than you do in the physical world. Because you're tapping into something greater than yourself. That's the level that we're moving to where it's not about what we're seeing, feeling these emotions, but it's more about, are you able to be quiet now so you can see things from a different vantage point and be able to address them accordingly? It's about mental fortitude, mental focus. Those are the things that's needed. So when you get down and you sit down on your mat, now you're able to say, okay, this is what's going on. And you're able to just allow it to flow. It doesn't mean that it does not exist, but you take away the power of the moment of what happened, the trauma. You take the power away from the trauma of what happened. And now you're able to be calm and at peace, because now you know that, guess what? I've moved beyond this place. Yeah, the trauma hurt. It didn't feel good. They shouldn't have done it. But in the midst of it, it does not affect how I desire to progress in life. And for me, I had to look at myself. I said, you're the harm. And it was a tough pill to swallow. When I had to say, yeah, you're the one. You're the one creating the harm. And it didn't feel good, because now you have to relive so you can check off, okay, yeah, these are areas. Not to sit in it, but to feel what it felt like, to be able to release those feelings, to break those bonds and be able to progress in life. So when you see that thing that might have caused that trauma, that you're not affected, that you took the sting away from it. So now you're able to be at peace, and people won't understand it because they expect you to feel the way you feel. They expect you to stay in that place so that they can connect with you. Oh, I want to connect in your pain. And said, okay, how can I show up in your pain to help you move beyond this place? Because what's after this is purpose. What's after this is understanding those things. And I think that's awesome. That's awesome. So it's not carrying it on as a burden, because it's not a burden. You are equipped for it. Any individual that is coming in your space right now, you are equipped with tools and experience to give them a proper answer or to help them move beyond that place. See, I know what it's like to exhibit terrible, horrible behaviors, to be on a level of pure physical, sexual desires, not being able to turn down, but to be able to say, okay, man, there's some areas in my life I got to change, and doing the proper work that it takes to handle and to deal with those certain levels. Okay, now you got to learn sexual discipline to be able to hold yourself and not be every motion and feeling I got to jump to. No, I'm able to be calm, because now here I understand that behavior. And once you understand it, you're able to move beyond that place and really go deeper into, okay, what's the root cause? Because I can chop down a tree all day, but if I'm not willing to deal with the root cause, before time it'll grow back. So it's about getting to the root of the situation. Okay, what causes? Okay, now I can heal in those places the way that felt. And I tell people all the time, it's always a love thing. Always remember that. What do you mean, Bostic? It's a love thing. Because when there's a love issue, it's because somewhere in life or somewhere there's a lack of love, no matter what it is. I cheat because I'm in a place that I do not love myself enough. I take because I have learned, or there's a lack of love for those I'm taking from. Everything is always going to be rooted back to love. Even biblically. Now I abided these three: faith, hope, charity, or love. The greatest is love. But it takes the first and the second to get to the third. It takes faith and hope to get to love. So what we need more of is to be able to learn to love ourselves in areas that might not feel good. So for me, these 30 days of meditation are more than just 30 days of getting down on the mat. It's 30 days of introspection. It's 30 days of reversing that mirror and looking at yourself and say, where are those areas that I need to change in my life? And it's having the courage to do it. It's having the courage to say, yep, that's how I was, or that's how I am, but I want to change. And I think that's one of the biggest things. So we're now at day 17, and then it's already getting awesome. So I'm grateful for those taking a journey, that's sending messages saying, hey, I'm with you, hey, I'm needing this, or hey, I'm just starting. That it is important. And my consistency in showing up on these lives, my consistency of giving you tools helps me as well. Because before this, I didn't really like being on lives. I was like, I don't like being on lives. But now I see the need for it, that people are searching right now. They're really searching right now. And for some of us, it's how do I slow down the chaos in my head? How do I slow down my mind? And once we're learning to master that, we can master every moment. We can manifest anything that we really desire, because it's a power that's been given to us. I've given thee the power to get well. So I think that's amazing. So as always, day 17, DJ Bostic, founder of Black Men Meditate. I salute you on the journey as we continue to take this thing to the next level. Yeah. Any questions y'all have, go ahead and put it in the comments or shoot it to the inbox as we continue this dialogue. I think that's what it is, a dialogue. So I salute you on your journey. I will see y'all tomorrow at day 18 as we do a guided meditation. All right. Salute.